Hi everyone, my name's Elizabeth Chaddick, and I am pretty familiar with attachment theory. I work with kids, so we do a lot of attachment work. I have a lot of kids that have reactive attachment disorder, so I'm pretty familiar with some of this kind of stuff. I did find Gottman's Four Horsemen discussion pretty interesting. The video I thought was pretty brief and straight to the point. So it kind of discusses four different aspects of communication that can kind of lead to issues with relationships. And the video kind of made me think more of like romantic relationships, but I think they're really important for family relationships as well. So the first one is criticism. So basically, just kind of attacking someone's character, and that obviously is not useful. And so instead of using criticisms, I statements can be replaced with that. So just expressing how you as an individual feel rather than putting it on the other person and their personal character in a disagreement. And then contempt, which is really just a more intense version of criticism, or it's kind of just insulting, belittling, just being outright disrespectful, which can be attacking someone's character or just in a tone of voice. And so the video kind of discussed building a culture of appreciation. So just talking about qualities of that person that they do like and the positive actions they have taken. So, saying things like, I appreciate the fact that you did this. This is now how I am feeling, rather than escalating to that kind of really abuse. And then the next is defensiveness, and I think this is probably the most common for most people. So if someone comes to you saying, hey, this is how I'm feeling, they may not even have to put the blame on you. It could just be saying, hey, this is how I feel about something that has happened between the two of us. Just immediately getting defensive, being the victim. Well, I didn't do that. Reversing the blame is pretty common. So saying, it's not my fault, it's yours. Or just pointing out, just trying to kind of shift all of the focus from yourself, instead of taking responsibility, which is what they suggest to do, is to listen to that other person's perspective and apologize for however that person feels, because at the end of the day, you may not necessarily agree with how they feel, but if they feel that way, and you made them feel that way, that's something that needs to be discussed, and maybe there was some sort of issue in communication. And then the next one is stonewalling, and this one they said kind of happens over time. So just kind of avoiding conflict, saying forget about it, I'm done, I don't want to talk about it anymore. And I think this is what a lot of couples and families do once they've been dealing with the situation for so long. They're just tired of having the conversations, they don't want to deal with it, and so they just don't. And so they suggest taking a break, doing something, taking 20 minutes, go kind of regulate yourself, come back, and then have that conversation. And for me, working with families, I think this is a really big one because a lot of the times parents aren't regulated when they get upset with their children. So they may stonewall, or they may get defensive, or they may criticize, and they may even go into contempt. And that is not helpful for their relationship with their children. It's not helpful for the attachment and the bonding that is needed during those developmental stages. So I often suggest taking a break for parents. Kids do need discipline, but if you can't regulate yourself, your discipline may not be appropriate. So taking that break, saying, hey, I need to go regulate myself, you go regulate yourself, I know we're both upset, and we can pick up this conversation in a bit. And then kind of just actually have those conversations about using those I statements and saying, these are the things I do appreciate about you, however, this is an issue that we're having. So really just kind of building communication. So I do plan to use some of this. I think even making like a little handout for families would be helpful, just to kind of, show them how some of the effects are, and we do talk a lot about attachment, but I think showing some of these little side-by-side techniques would be cute. So that's all I've got for this week. Thanks.